So good
Yes.
afternoon everyone. I am Ritika Goenka from Malda, West Bengal. I am a student of ITM Business School, Kharghar, Navi Mumbai. I am interning with D.O.R.A.I Foundation for 15 days in the area of Fair Trade Forum. Welcome you ma'am. We have with us our achievers Mrs. Anita Ahuja from Delhi. She is a co-founder and the president of Conserve India and Conserve HRP. She is also a social entrepreneur. Ma'am, can you tell us more about yourself?
I'm Anita, and why we had to set up two organizations is because to run a social enterprise, you have to have a non-profit arm and you have to have a for-profit arm. These are the legal reasons why, most of us social entrepreneurs have to have two organizations. My journey is very long. I have been 20 years in this field.
That's
And
great,
I've
ma'am.
been working in with waste enterprises, like what you are called the rack pickers. We work with that community largely, and we source material from them. We also train and build their capacities. We make When we collect these plastic bags, we make it into a fabric. This fabric is then given to artisan groups who make it into very nice products, and we market them in India as well as globally.
That's nice, ma'am. Ma'am, like I was going to your website and your video in YouTube too. Like
Yes.
you are making a things with through wastage, plastics and all. Ma'am, when this idea come to your mind, ma'am?
First, we were a non-profit who was working with more of advocacy and making small pilots, like collecting waste efficiently in localities of Delhi. And then we would take a public park after taking permission from the municipality, and we would set up small composting units. But then we realized that there is a lot of plastic waste because even 20 years back, this problem had started growing of plastic waste, and the
Yes, ma'am.
awareness was not at all there.
Yes,
At that time, nobody, gave a second thought to throwing a plastic bag anywhere in Delhi. And whenever we visited the mountains or the river, those cities which are located in hills or near the riverside, we would see the same problem of lot of accumulation of plastic waste and complete lack of awareness and civic sense. So we were running a lot of campaigns, but then we realized that just doing campaigns is not enough. We need to work more with these rack pickers because they are and they continue to be the poorest of the poor. So we wanted to work with them so that they could have better livelihood options, and that's
yes,
how we got into developing of these technologies so that they could have a better salary or an income.
yes, ma'am. And that's great, ma'am. Like you are helping others for this, ma'am, so that they can make their life. Like, ma'am, what kind of campaign you would have doing, ma'am?
Like we used to in Delhi, we had a big program called Bhagyadari, in which the resident welfare associations were being their capacities were being built so that they could play a more active role. They could play a more active role in local governance.
That's great.
So yeah, so that's how we got involved with building their capacity, the local governance.
That was nice, ma'am. Like, ma'am, as your organization name is Conserve India and Conserve HRP. Ma'am, what HRP means, ma'am? Like, why HRP?
HRP actually means hand recycle plastic, because the plastic, the technology, we do not follow the traditional method of melting down plastic. It is more, you have to use a lot of handwork to make that fabric.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
and since we were training in the slums where there is a problem of electricity, we could not do high tech things. It had to be very simple and also very not expensive at all. So, that is why we developed the technology, keeping in mind that we'll be working in the unorganized sector with this community.
That's nice, ma'am. How far I know, like plastic, we are collecting the wastage of plastic, and it's being get recycled, and it comes into small pieces, right? So what's the process like after collecting the plastics and
So, when we collect the plastic bags, they are washed thoroughly because they are dirty in the waste stream.
yes, ma'am. Actually, I visited
So,
the
yes.
plastic factory.
But good thing about plastic is that nothing sticks to it. So if you just use water and little soap, everything comes out.
Yes, ma'am.
After we have cleaned them properly, we dry it and then we segregate it color wise and then we make it into the fabric.
That's nice, ma'am. Like, and you're like innovative, like making from plastic wastage material to new things you are giving, and that's nice creativity, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes, thank you.
and like, ma'am, how could you manage your personal and professional life both?
Yes, this is a question which I'm often asked, especially, my generation of women. Uh, there were not many who continued uh, what I would say working. Because even if you're working for non-profits or social enterprises, you have to give in full time.
Yes, ma'am.
So it is difficult, I mean, for any young mother, especially,
Yes, ma'am. I can
it
see my
is.
mother too, ma'am. Like she can give time to the house, or she can give to her work, or she never give to her time to her health also in some okay, and she's totally busy in housework only. And you people are like managing both professional and personal life.
Yes, I think it is very important for a woman to have some kind of a career after marriage, after children, and even as you grow older. Because having a profession, it not only satisfies you financially, that is very relative, but relative satisfaction. You may or may not get that satisfied with what you're earning,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
you build a, if you do your work sincerely, you have a lot of pride in your work. That
Yes,
pride increases your own self-esteem. So even if things are going wrong personally, you are feeling not up to it, but because you have so much of satisfaction through your work, which you have done sincerely, that appreciation, uh, it just builds I mean, it really helps you in the long run to obstacle all problems. So, I would advise all you young girls that even if, please continue working and do the work you enjoy, do it very sincerely. You will be appreciated. So, whether your household work is appreciated or not, your role as a wife, your role as a mother, your role as a daughter in law, your role as a sister, but professionally, if you work sincerely, then the appreciation is sincere and you just know it in your heart, and that makes you very happy with yourself. So, in
yes,
the end, actually appreciating oneself is the best thing one can do.
yes, ma'am, definitely, ma'am. And this your words I will keep in mind. Like in future, I am also going to do a job, so I will do it sincerely with my heart, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, like my next question is like, what's a success mantra for life?
Balance, like uh, a balance between the outside world and the inside world. I mean, by outside world, I mean the people that you work with, your extended family, your immediate family, and one is a world inside you, which knows what you are. And so there should be a balance between the two. So give some time to yourself also, in the sense, the inner world. And by
Yes,
inner world, I don't mean praying and meditation. All these are tools which is okay to use because they help you evolve. But yeah, be in touch with yourself also. Don't give all your time and energy to the outside world.
yes, ma'am. Actually, I will keep this in mind. Actually, what I do is like if I'm doing some work, I totally like focus in that work only, that I never give my time to myself only. So I will remember this, ma'am.
Yes.
Because right now I am doing internship and I have like no, I need to complete my work. I need to complete, and continuously I do it like till 2 a.m. till 9, and then I go to sleep and then I wake up and same routine goes on.
Yeah, learn to balance, do your work absolutely properly, because if you don't work very hard at all levels, then no one appreciates you, because
Yes,
they know that you didn't put in your 100%. And
yes, ma'am.
today, the expectation is that in each relationship, you're going to put in more than 100%. So,
Yes,
yes,
ma'am.
finding that balance is very important.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I will definitely do that, ma'am. Now, like my question is like, according to you, why current generation should focus on sustainability development?
Because we know climate change is for real. And if you want your children and grandchildren to live happily, then we must ensure that the air is clean, the water is clean, and all this can only happen if we take small measures. Each one of us is responsible for what's happening in climate change. Each one of us has a carbon footprint. Each one of us is contributing to climate change. So we must take steps to reverse all that. So, since the
Yes,
responsibility is ours, and it's not a one generation, it's not our generation, my generation, or my grandchildren generation. It's like every generation is responsible. So, we must practice it and we must teach.
yes, ma'am, definitely. Ma'am, my question is like, as you are working with, like you're collecting the waste materials, plastics and all, but now we are moving in that generation where we are going to ban the plastic. And how, what will be your future initiative?
Oh, that will be very nice, because we have worked 20 years to build up this momentum where it can be banned. But my problem is that the plastic lobby is very, very powerful. Um, and India is only increasing its capacity to produce more plastic. For
Yes, ma'am.
example, like Mukesh Ambani is the president of the plastic industry.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
if you look at all the reports of the plastic manufacturers, the big 10, all of them are increasing production. If we are going to ban plastic in near future, like say couple of years, then why are they increasing their production, their
Yes,
manufacturing capability? Supposing you were a businessman and you think there's going to be more demand in the next 5 years, then you will increase your manufacturing infrastructure. But if
yes,
you
ma'am.
feel, no, my factory is going to close down, sealing is going to happen, and I will not be able to function anymore from next year, will you invest money in your factory?
No, ma'am.
Why will you increase production? Because then you will think, oh, how should I survive? I mean,
Yes, ma'am.
what step should I take that I don't close down? you will not you won't buy more machines,
Yes,
because
ma'am.
if you're going to close down in 6 months, why will you buy more machines?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I do not think that India is still very near that point where this ban is going to happen.
Yes, ma'am. Because I think like in between few years back, plastic was banned for a few months or days. I don't know. I don't remember. Again, it started. Like people are using plastic. Like,
Exactly.
then, ma'am, like if in sudden, like if it's banned, then your second option, like you're obviously you have thought something.
Yeah. Now, supposing if plastic suddenly get bans, for example, I am told now the dals and bread and all those food essentials are all going to come, खुला. जैसे पहले they used to get खुला. You used to go and buy
Yes,
dal by
ma'am. Yes,
kg. It
ma'am.
didn't
Thoda,
come in plastic
yes.
packet. And so then obviously being in the industry, I will be observing these changes, because overnight, um, the waste stream does not change overnight. For
Yes,
example, from the waste stream you can judge the income, the lifestyle of a family. So it's not that suddenly plastic will disappear, because there has to be alternatives for it.
yes, ma'am.
In the sense, what am I going to pack my like the whole industry, the food industry will be thinking, the shampoo business will be thinking.
Yes, ma'am.
Like there are so many industries who are dependent on plastic.
Yes,
So they
ma'am.
will be all first thinking. Now, then only after many, many years will the waste stream get affected. So the waste stream will be the last, because you throw away something only when you don't need it at all.
Yes, ma'am.
So that
Definitely.
means it has reached its last. So then, like, we will be, of course, reading the newspapers, and we are well aware. So if so
Yes, ma'am.
much is happening in a society, then first the waste will reduce only gradually. Na?
Yes, ma'am.
Like
Like, ma'am.
supposing in like dustbins, you are lined with plastic bags.
Yes,
Now, if you're throwing the garbage directly, then obviously it is more problematic.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Like, ma'am, as we all know, like due to COVID and lockdown, pandemic, we suffered a lot. And your work is like for collecting the wastage material and making some new product. Then what obviously your organization also have faced many problem in that time. Now,
Hmm.
what problem and what difficulties you face and how did you overcome with that?
Yes, we also suffered a lot during COVID, and we're still suffering because, we really don't have a system of segregation as yet. So people just mix up all the waste and throw it in the waste stream. As a result, that the entire, supposing somebody has got COVID, they'll mix it with the normal garbage, and then that garbage goes into the bigger collection, and that all gets infected.
Yes, ma'am.
So it has been very, very difficult. I mean, to handle this. I mean, of course, we couldn't do much about it because awareness is not created in one day. So we couldn't do much. But yes, it's been very difficult.
Ma'am, obviously you would like your organization and you would have done something in the that time, COVID time. Like
Um,
um obviously like we are collecting the wastage and do some are COVID person and they are also throwing and all. So obviously you have done something with that wastage.
yes.
Like
So what we did was like lockdown was very sudden, and yeah, so first of all, what we did was we realized that most of them are very hand to mouth. So we opened community kitchens, and we had 5 kitchens running, community kitchens in the waste picker community. So at least they have access to free meals. Then we connected them to the government kitchens because we did not have so much money to. Lockdown was a very long period, and we
Yes,
did
ma'am.
not have so much money to run the kitchen for many weeks. So we accessed the government kitchens and linked our kitchens to the government kitchens. But we worked to get the clearances because you need those rickshaws and all for the the food to be transferred, and like
Yes, ma'am.
there were a lot of problems for all these small things because of lockdown. And our communities are more near the landfill sites, so they are not easily accessible. So just the whole organizing the kitchens, I mean basic rations, was quite challenging for us. Then through the government, we did get the message that, I mean, they did not want waste piling up. They wanted the waste pickers back on jobs, like
Okay.
not only the government ones, because the government sweepers and all quite refused to come. So they wanted the unorganized sectors, so that, because if waste piles up during lockdown in Delhi, then that will create more problems and infection.
Yes, ma'am.
So yes, so that was a bit also quite challenging to motivate the rack pickers and how to organize them and their commute. So yes, it's been a like a long, challenging year, I would say, but lot of learnings, and it couldn't have happened without a lot of collaborations.
Yes, ma'am. And like I can see like how much you have faced the problem, and now we are
Yeah.
learning from you, ma'am. Ma'am, one last question. Like any message you would like to give to the coming generation?
To whom? Message to?
Coming generation, ma'am.
You all are
No,
so
like,
much more
and
brighter.
and how much I know, like no one are uh, in that direction that they are ready to help communities, and they are so conscious. And now due to pandemic, they are more conscious about themselves. So any
Yes,
message?
I'm really very optimistic about your generation, and I really feel you all are far more exposed, and you all, I mean, as we have really pushed the envelope so that we all create a generation where you all are so aware, and with all these technology, I think knowledge has also been democratized to a large extent. So you have access to the best what's going on in the world. And
Yes, ma'am.
so I'm very hopeful that things will be much better in the coming times.
That was nice, ma'am. And it was like nice to talk to you, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. And you were
Thank
so
you.
inspiring, ma'am. Your lesson, your everything was so inspiring and so learning, knowledgeable, ma'am. Like we can relate to us. Like in future also, it will help us, ma'am. The way you have faced the challenge, the way you have overcome with that, it was so great, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
ma'am, for
Ritika.
joining us.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
ma'am, I would like to ask my mentor to say
Yes.
something. Sadhana ma'am.
Hello.
Uh, Anita ma'am, thank you so much for being there with us today. I'm Sarjanya Prasad, and as a representative of D.O.R.A.I Foundation and the
Hey.
mentor of the ITM interns, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks that you were part of the interview today, that you took the time out and gave us so many important messages. I think Ritika lucked out. Riddhi is handling the women achievers, and I strongly believe that you would have been perfectly apt to have been there in her interview. So definitely we see you as a woman achiever, and the message that you've given us about working, having something that defines you other than just family and the roles you play in the family, it is definitely very fulfilling. I completely agree with that. And yes, and Ma'am, the work that you're doing with the recycling of plastic, with a very practical, productive, sustainable way of recycling plastic, I think it's great work for the society. And I think it's something that is, as you said, need of the hour. Plastic is not going away anytime soon. So finding a way to productively, sustainably, and very realistically handle it is something that I think we will learn from your organization. Thank you for the work that you're doing for the society, for the better of the world. Thank you so much. Ma'am, as you can see, this interview is being recorded. From D.O.R.A.I Foundation, we are talking and taking interview of inspiring people who are creating a change in the society, who are working towards a better world, and who can show others that there is so much more to be done, and that it can be done and it needs to be done. So thank you for being a part of this catalog. Thank you for giving your experiences, giving your message to the rest of the world. We will be putting this interview up on social media so that more and more people can be sensitized and made aware of their responsibility to society. Ma'am, from D.O.R.A.I Foundation, we have a tiny token of appreciation for you. Riddhi, can we have it up on screen?
Yes, ma'am.
This is just a small little something. Ma'am, you deserve a lot more for all that you're doing, for the change that you're creating, for the better world that you're working towards. We will promise that we will do our bit as well. There's a lot that needs to be done, and each of us needs to take responsibility. I remember in school we were taught, the 4 R's: refuse, reuse, reduce, and recycle. And this is something that growing up we all forget. It's very easy to buy and throw, but then we don't think about the consequence of the buying and throwing. We forget about the carbon footprints that we are leaving, and we forget that there are future generations who, like you rightly said, need fresh air, clean water, need to have place to keep their foot without forgetting about what nature is. So we will all take that responsibility. I think from your interview, a lot of us have been inspired. And once we put this up on social media, I know that a lot more people will be inspired. So this is a small token from us. Thank you so much for being part of our interview. Thank you so much for being in our journey to create sensitization.
Thank you so much.